Welcome to the Absolute Momsense Podcast.
Okay, so I know no medical stuff.
So and I don't know medical things either on melatonin, but this is just my thought process, right? I met a mom who was like, "Yeah, my kids use melatonin like three times a week," and that's her holding back. She would do daily if she could, right? Wow. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm getting from it. And so at first, automatically I'm like, well, okay, first of all, melatonin, last I knew, wasn't a vitamin. Mm-hmm. So it's not like it's something like, it's not vitamin D, right? You don't like daily dose of melatonin. I didn't ever hear of this. So then I'm like, okay, if it's not a vitamin, I hesitate giving my kids too much Tylenol.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When they're sick, because most of the time the fever is the scary part of a sickness.
Yeah.
Because if it gets too high, you can cause problems. It causes problems and everything. But a low-grade fever is actually the body's way of fighting the disease. So you kind of need the fever there to kind of fight the infection. And so I try not to do too much Tylenol, ibuprofen, Motrin, whatever, because it's not natural, I guess. And
all you need is sunshine.
Right? I've tried to always just be like, okay, natural. So I'm all about the vitamins.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think supplementing, especially because we're in Utah, we don't get a lot of sun.
Yeah.
And so the vitamin D supplements is almost essential for every human being in Utah. Like, you just got to have it. That, and then I have a few kids who are low on iron, typically. But even then, I'm more like natural foods are the easiest way, at least for my body, to retain iron.
Yep.
And so I try to do that with my kids. So this is kind of where I'm coming from. Okay? And then I speak to this mom, and she's like, oh, melatonin, right? 3 times a week. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
You're doing what to your kids? What is happening? And I'm like, okay, first question. Like, why are they having a hard time falling asleep? That's my question. Number 1, because at bedtime, my kids are like out and they sleep all through the night. And I'm not being like, oh, my kids sleep. No, I'm just saying kids typically, from my experience, sleep well. Right. So why the melatonin? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, it's the thing that scares me on it is that it seems like it would become addictive.
It seems like it would. Yeah. Right.
So that's anything that's like goes that way, I'm like pull and clear back. Like if you don't have to use it, but it seems more like a convenient use. Like, hey, you want your kids to go to bed, so you drug them up, basically.
It feels like that.
But I remember seeing a whole documentary on like a third world country and the working mothers, they're single working mothers, and they literally had to drug up their kids with, I think, like actual drugs, so their kids would be safe. So they would sleep all day, so the moms could go to work and make a living. So that's kind of what that reminded me of, like,
right?
So they're like drugging their kids for their own.
A little uneasy though.
I don't like it.
And then I'm seeing. So after this was the first exposure that I get to people using melatonin.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this was a thing.
Yeah.
Right. And then once you see it, you start to see it everywhere else. And so then I'm starting to see like influencers, mom influencers, who are being like, oh, back to school, time to crack open the melatonin pills. Everybody get these melatonin. Here's my code, influencer, right? And I'm like, what? You are like trying to get these moms to start buying melatonin to give to their kids. Like, have we done enough study on melatonin for children? And they're being used on children under 5.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
I feel like it's like a quick solve to their problem. Right? Like, hey, my kid's not falling asleep because they're probably not in their routine, right?
Exactly.
So the doctor's like, hey, try this. They try it. That works. So they just keep doing it instead of like getting to the root of the problem.
Exactly. But then that seems like, what are they called? Band-aid solutions?
Yeah.
Where it's like, did you actually fix the problem?
But with like long-term effects, probably.
This is what I'm saying.
I say this.
So I'm like really nervous about melatonin.
Yeah.
I'm like uneasy.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to give it to my kids because I'm like, I have not done enough research on this. I've not done enough study. That being the case, if there are good things about it, I don't know, obviously, because I didn't do the research. But like I said, it's not a vitamin.
Yep.
So then what would be the purpose of like giving it to your kids? I don't get it.
Yeah. So we have grandma, 94-year-old grandma, right? And she does these spells at nighttime where she's up wandering around and hollering and just like uneasy, the dementia sets in.
Right.
So our doctor told us, give her a melatonin pill every night. So we started doing that. And then my sister-in-law called and she's like, so you know the melatonin you're giving Grandma every night, that she had done some research and it actually causes like the visions and like them to hear voices, like what do you call it?
The dementia? What do you mean?
Not dementia, like
hallucinations?
Hallucinations.
Okay.
There you go. So we pulled her off of that and it cut way back on those too.
Are you
She
serious?
still has them sometimes, okay? But not like she was. Yeah.
Are you serious? Yeah. So the melatonin was causing that on her?
I don't know, but like that was the difference. So we were giving her melatonin because I was like, it's like a safety issue too, and like for her health and everything. So, and yeah. We just want her to be safe going up and down the stairs. So yeah, I cut back on that. Like, I mean, not cut back, like we took it out. Right. She doesn't use it anymore. And it's cut way back on the spells.
Oh my goodness. So. And see, that's the thing that I'm just like, and we're feeding it to children.
Yeah.
Teeny tiny children. Like I said, most of them are using them on kids younger than 5.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and doctors are recommending this.
Do they use it on themselves, I wonder? Like if the mom is, like you're giving it to your kids, are you using it and feel the...
I've heard some
I have taken melatonin because I was having a hard time falling asleep. So I tried it because it's like all natural, right? Like we're going to try some melatonin, right?
Right.
So I tried it and it made me feel awful.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, but see, here's the thing. Because you struggled with sleep problems. Mm-hmm. And what did you use? What did you do?
I've used my all-natural supplement for a long time.
Right.
It's Longevity Tangy Tangerine. It's like a mineral, all the vitamins you need.
Vitamins,
like a liquid.
though,
yeah.
Right? So you noticed when you were low on vitamins.
Yeah, then your body won't sleep.
Then you couldn't sleep.
Right.
Or it was like wrecked sleep, right?
Yeah.
So you'd fall asleep and then wake up and then
it's just awful.
Right? Yeah, all over the place.
Yeah.
And I'm like... It sounds about like we're about ready to shoot the kids up with some Benadryl or something before bed. You know what I mean?
Literally.
And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
And I think that's why it shocked me so much. It was because I not only like saw so many moms using it, and then I saw the influencer moms pushing it. Yeah. And I was like, shame on you.
But where are they learning it from? Probably the doctors.
The doctors, and I'm like, what?
Like just freely giving out like melatonin
right now. Yeah. I've never had a doctor prescribe it, but here's the thing: I've never
had
my kids not sleeping well.
Okay, but here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Audrey, my 9th grader. Okay, so I get a call and from her teacher, and they said, "Hey, Audrey's falling asleep in class," and I'm like, "Oh, my child, like she does." No, she doesn't. He's like, "Yeah, like she's like sleeping through class, and like we're worried about her grade in here." So she gets home, and we have already been noticing little Miss Audrey is really tired. She comes home from school, and she would go straight to bed if she couldn't. But I'm like, her dad's a heavy sleeper. Like his family literally could sleep anywhere, anytime. Like they will fall asleep on the couch in the middle of like a party,
and be able to sleep.
Yeah. So I'm like, May, she just takes after her dad, right?
Okay.
Anyways, so I'm like, okay, falling asleep in class, that's it. Like, now you're in trouble, Audrey. So I ordered her the Fitbit watch that will monitor her sleep at night. Huh? And then
And how was it?
We're going to get there. And then I was like, hey, Audrey messed up, right? We're gonna take you to the doctor now, and you're gonna get a blood draw. Oh, so then she never had a blood drawn. So we get in there,
like, not playing around.
No, I'm like, if this is an issue,
you fall asleep in class.
That's it. So we get there, and they pulled. I was like, do a full panel on her. I want to know everything. Like, and maybe it's just a teenage, super tired, like growth stage going on. Yeah. That's fine. But if there's something going on, we're gonna figure it out. So they get out the needle, and she's like, I am terrible with needles.
Yeah.
You don't want to be there. Yeah. They have to like pull in a special nurse for me.
Oh, no.
Like a John that's like trying to hold me down, and I was like watching her. I'm like, oh no.
Oh, here we go.
She's almost as bad as I am.
Oh no.
She like pulled up her knee, and she's like super shy and quiet, so she's not not like me, right? She's not gonna make too big of a fuss. Yeah. So anyways, they pulled probably like 8 vials of blood. And I'm like, serves you right.
The next time you fall asleep in class.
Yeah. And so then the nice doctor there, she's like, oh, and by the way, because I told her that we had ordered the Fitbit because I'm like, you're going to start exercising. Like, I want to see 10,000 steps a day or do your squats. Like, we're going to get the energy build up, like build some muscle maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Figure this out.
Yeah. So, and she had actually gotten over 9,000 steps just naturally throughout the day. So I'm like, so you're being active enough. And then the doctor's like, she needs to get 4 hours of REM sleep, the REM sleep. Yeah. So I'm like, good to know. Okay. So guess how many she got that night?
How many?
57 minutes.
How?
She slept like seven something hours, right? Only 57 minutes of REM sleep. So she's not sleeping deep.
Why?
I don't know. So I was like, then my mom called me and she's like, I know we don't like melatonin, Tia, but Audrey might need it.
Really?
So I'm like, there might be another side to this. I don't know.
Wow.
So we'll see.
So did you try it?
No.
No.
She just told me.
Did you get the blood?
Today, this morning, actually.
Panel?
No, so it's 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So like another, week and a half.
So you just gotta wait.
And start tracking everything. See, like gather information. I'm going to do some serious research on this melatonin issue, and I might be on Olivia's bad side after this. But we'll see.
Funny. But see, like I said, I have never done the research. Yeah. I have never, like you say, it's all natural. I don't know that. I honestly...
I mean, I don't know that. I just think you just assume it's mellow. You hear about it. I don't know anything.
Right?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about it, only just that I've just seen that that's what parents are using. And it seems like it's not as a last resort. Right? It seems like it's the first thing that they go to. Or
medically needed.
Right? And so then I'm just like...
Go to bed, kids.
Like
here's your drug.
Right. When did you, like you're doing, okay, so she's having a hard time staying awake in class and this and that. So you're going through the steps
right,
to rule out some of the options right? And so this is what I'm saying. Like, why is it such a thing that you just jump straight to it?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Because it's the easy out, and a doctor prescribed it. So in the mom's mind, they're like, well, the doctor said. I know a lot of mamas that do that. Instead of being like second opinions or like doing their own research.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know how that feels. Like you go to a doctor and they have like a rash or something. The doctor's like, it's this. So you're like, okay, you don't go do your own research. You
don't double check and see if it really is that, right?
Just like, well, the
and that makes sense, right?
But
I don't know.
It seems like it's like you're like seeing a lot more of it. The doctors, I don't know.
So then my question is, then why wouldn't the doctor say, like, how is the routine?
Yeah.
Are they getting enough exercise?
Yeah.
Are they doing this? Like, do they? I don't know. Yeah. I've never complained about my kids not sleeping.
But for me, like in my, like you're saying, in my own personal body, like my own experience, I knew when and even now I'm like, okay, I feel like restless in my body. I feel like I'm not going to sleep well. I get some calcium magnesium out and stir it up and drink a glass of that, and it fixes it for the bedtime. So I think that there is a serious lacking in nutrients in our kids nowadays.
Of some kind. Yeah, that makes sense. I will say though, my 4-year-old Nova, she has sleep issues. Sleep is not her friend. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, so she dropped naps sooner than any of my kids have ever dropped naps.
Yeah.
And she just goes all day. She gets super emotional when she's tired, but she's done pretty well. And then she'll go all day long, and then it's bedtime. She'll fall asleep, and then without fail, around 9 or 10 o'clock, she's up. And I'm like, do you need to go to the bathroom? What do you need?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know this. I don't know that. There have been times where I've gotten up at like 3 a.m. and she's just sitting in the front room, just sitting there. And I'm like, why aren't you sleeping?
Because if you're not sleeping, then your body doesn't have from what I understand, that it doesn't have the nutrients it needs to rebuild throughout the night. Yeah.
Rebuild, right, exactly. And especially during growing years.
Right.
To grow.
It's super essential.
So I can see why you would just jump straight to melatonin, because it's a quick fix.
Yeah.
Your kid's not sleeping, so then you say, okay, go to bed.
But they're sleeping, but they don't have the nutrients to rebuild throughout the night.
Right, so but then if there are like vitamins that she's lacking or something that's off in her body, and I'm just basically masking it. That's my issue, I guess.
Right.
Is it feels like it's just a mask over it.
Yeah.
Like pretend that there's not real issues.
Yeah.
Let's just go to sleep.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So I don't know. That's my thing with it, is I just don't think it should be the quick fix.
Yeah, I agree.
But that being said, I don't know that it's bad.
I mean,
to be honest, I don't know that it is bad. I don't know if there's anything wrong with melatonin. Maybe there's absolutely nothing wrong with it anyways, and it can be just a quick fix. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I don't like it. I'm just saying.
It sounds a little, what do they say? It sounds a little
sketchy.
Right? I'm not buying it.
Yeah. I'm going to do some research because I'm going to look at using it for my own child.
Looking into it.
Yeah.
So you're going to want to know what you're using.
I'm going to do the research and I'm going to see and also watch. Maybe it's different from person to person as well. But we are looking into like her vitamin levels and see if her copper and zinc is off and all that. Like we're looking at a lot of stuff. Seems like that's
always off for every person, especially girls.
Yep.
So if you're mad all the time, you probably need some more zinc.
Crap, I just saw it in my jar. I need to add it. I'm doing so good on my vitamins right now. Like I have my whole nightstand. I'm like, and I saw the zinc in my bathroom. I'm like, I need to add that. And
I know everybody does. Everybody does. Everyone's low on zinc. I swear. I don't know what the deal is. Where can you get zinc? In what foods? Dark greens? That's what it is. Oh, that's why.
Oysters, really? Okay. I will do that.
Do you like oysters?
I've never had them, but I will do that. I'm like a hardcore. If it's going to help me, I'm going to do it.
Oh. Yeah. I had to liver then.
Okay, I do have my limits. I remember.
I know that it's in liver.
Yeah. Do you have iron issues? Okay. So do you know what that is?
Do liver.
I always had, like, my iron wouldn't even register in my pregnancies, right?
Yeah.
It was super low, and I felt better at a low level. I would start taking supplements, and I felt just, like, a horrible back pain, and my stomach hurt, and just, like, icky.
Yeah.
And years of that, and they're trying to, like, throw iron down me, like, because I'm pregnant, and it's scary. You could hemorrhage. I never hemorrhaged, never had problems. And I found out there's a parasite cleanse that you can do.
Wow.
And I did a parasite cleanse for that specific low iron thing, and it fixed. I haven't, as far as I know, I have not had iron issues since. Wow. Like my iron stayed up in like the 9s and 10s after that.
Yeah, that's where I hang too. Yeah. 9s and 10s.
Not better than 6 and 5.
I know. I don't feel bad though at 9 and 10. I get that it's too easy, but just like she did, she doesn't go straight to it.
I think that knowing, like, for me, if you as a mother knew, like, long-term effects, like, if you actually did the studies on it and you saw some of those effects, you wouldn't touch it.
Right, exactly.
So I think that the moms purposely are not doing their own research and taking the easy way out, so
and then if you, right, exactly. But if you were to see, my theory is that it would be an addiction at some point.
Right, anything
for both
addictive.
Mom and child.
Yeah.
For them to not even be able to sleep without it.
And if it's just as easy to give your kid or to, like, you could do melatonin or, like, fix the problem with, like, the mineral stuff or, like, your supplements. Like, choose one or the other. The minerals are good for them. This is probably going to have effects. I don't know if that is. I'm going to go do my research. I don't know.
Right.
But, like, do your research before you're dosing up your kids with anything.
Exactly. For me, then I noticed a huge difference in my kids' behavior, in their sleep, in their ability to have energy when I give them vitamin D, zinc, vitamin C, and fish oils.
And sunshine. She forgot the sunshine.
And sunshine.
I really do make my kids go eat your breakfast out. Like, let the sun come on your body. I really do. Like, outside.
But vitamin D, because that's what the sunshine is, right? Vitamin D
crucial.
Allows your body to absorb any other vitamins and minerals. So if you're low on vitamin D, your body has a hard time retaining anything.
Yeah, but the doctor also told us, and I already knew this, but, like, actually being the sunlight on your eyes actually does make your body, like, regulate its sleep pattern too.
Okay.
Sunshine.
See?
It cures everything, I swear.
If you are feeling low, go get in the sunshine.
I'm not even kidding.
Unless you're in Utah. Then just pop a vitamin D pill.
Whatever. You can go out in the winter.
Just kidding.
It's just not as good.
No, I'm kidding. We're getting into spring and summer, so
I'm so excited.
Me too.
Here comes the Zyrtec every day. No melatonin, but I will take the Zyrtec.
I know. Can you hear me like with my allergies?
Yeah. My eyes were super red yesterday from it.
I know. I've been all over the place. I just sound like I'm ill, but I'm just like, oh, I'm fine. I feel great.
It's just allergies.
It's just the allergies. No, I don't know. I just think that like she was saying, if you knew, and I don't, but if you knew what the long-term effects of anything, I guess, were, then it would be easier to not just go straight to that.
I think just even the addictiveness, like you're saying, is like that would be enough to scare me, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will, when I'm looking for Audrey, I am going to be looking like, is there other things Like, not just go straight to one thing. Like, what is there that can help her go to sleep? Yeah. Like some yoga or like massages or like essential oils. I'm big on those.
Pressure points.
Yeah, there's some other stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I've heard a lot about essential oils and I really like those.
Oh, you should see my bathroom. I have a whole thing. I
all your
love oils. I could cure anything.
They are essential.
I'm serious though. So my mom friends, the second their babies are sick, they call me up. Hey Tia, what do you got? I like rush over with my little bag. I'm like doing massage on all the babies.
I need to know this because my baby is always sick. Oh.
I always dose them up.
Okay.
With essential oils. And I'm smart. Like we're going to get some stuff on this, but like I know to be careful with them. Like you dilute them and which ones are safe for babies and all that.
Right.
Don't come at me with the essential oils talk. I love them and there's nothing you can say. And you do have to be careful though and get like high quality ones.
Yeah.
Like don't be buying like the Now brand. Okay. Okay. Don't do it.
I didn't.
Yeah. There's an off camera. I'll tell you the other brands. Don't touch them.
Oh, that's funny. No, but yeah, that's my biggest thing is that instead of it just being something that you go straight to, but I'm always the type that's like, I don't like the Band-Aid solutions anyways. So I'm always into like, what is the reason why? So that's what I think that I would just encourage any mom is to figure out why. Right. If that's not normal, not even just for your kid, but for children in general, if it's not normal, especially if it's not normal for your child, figure out why. Figure out what's going on before you just jump to something. Yep. Like, do your research. Do your research.
There you go.
That's it. Good luck. Don't use melatonin. I'm just kidding.
So far.
Prove me wrong with melatonin.